Okay, this is more of a quick review of blot printing and different options with it. So here's a blot print that I did of, I guess it was like an omelet last week. And then what I did, I taped this down with my blue tape to a board, and then I rolled with the foam roller a thin coat of Mod Podge to this. Okay, now you can see the surface has got a little bit of that sheen. It's almost kind of plasticky, like an oilcloth. And I can use this to do a whole other piece of art. So I could put, I probably would use Bristol paper. Like I could paint color in there, and then I could put that underneath. I could have, let's see, old magazine. I could have text showing through, okay? And I can even paint on top of the Mod Podge. So I have layer below and layer on top of, okay? And sometimes I just prepare these and then save them and use them in other art pieces, okay? Just to add to the pile there. All right, now, blot printing, another thing I thought of is instead of doing the whole like trace this and then ink and blot, you could go much more direct. It's good practice. You could get you know, whatever magazine image, and I'm going to use both my 3D liner, and I've got a piece of rice paper taped here, and I could just draw directly on my magazine image. Okay, I'll do the first blot, and I'm using rice paper here, but you could pick, I don't know, a number of substrates. Okay, so that's pretty blobby. I think the key to this, I'm realizing with this, is squeezing, and then you have to move kind of rapidly. And that might be, you know, that might be a little bit hard for some, like if you have arthritis. Okay, so that's pretty bold. Now I could combine it. The other blot printing method was the India ink. Remember to wipe off some of your excess ink. And I think what you're going to see on the magazine, I don't know what they're treating it with, but it's a little slick, so some of it will bead up. But yeah, you can see the difference in the line. It's more subtle. So you can just nix out the step of tracing, but yeah, it's beading up over there. Doesn't really seem to matter. Okay. Okay, so pretty quickly, I've got a blot print quicker than going, doing the whole tracing method. And so I can paint this, but I could even, why not, come back and paint in my magazine image, okay? What was the other one I thought of? There's one other, oh, I did a little bit of it last week. Let's see. I don't think it'll work on rice paper. It's too absorbent. Okay, so this is my Deli Paper. And this is, you don't have anything you're tracing, no plan, but you start at the midline. Fold over, and I get a mirror image. So that's India ink. Now I'll come in with my squeeze tube, and some of these come in different colors. I was thinking this would be fun to play with on a small scale and make cards. Another thing you could do is, let's see, another sheet of paper here. You can draw blobs and shapes, and you could put that, let's say it's a painting. You could just go up to your painting and do a direct blot on the surface of a painting you're working on. And I bring this up because this is something I've done before in class. Just doodles, right? Printing, painting. Okay. Here we go. Okay, there was another question. So here is the deli paper with the blot print. I cut out, it was a cup, all right? So let's see. So I could put this green behind here. I could put, I kind of like the text. So I could have text behind that cup. I could glue that down with more Mod Podge. Then if I wanted to paint it, I will show you that. So this yellow paint is more opaque. I can get thicker paint on there. All right, then I'm going to do a more transparent color, this quinacridone nickel azo. If I can get the tube open, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to thin this down. So I would have a color, but I'm also going to have a transparency. So I can still see my text. All right. You know what? The Mod Podge is good because if I painted it directly on the tracing paper, it would bubble up more. So it kind of keeps it flat. All right. And then let's say I wanted that cup to be a little lighter. I can come in here. I can erase some because of that coating. All right. I can erase into it. And then I could go darker up here. Like there's the cup of tea or cup of coffee. I hope that helped. Okay, I'm back with another little review. So if you have your blot printed paper, tracing or deli, and you Mod Podge it, it becomes, like I just showed, you get these little transparent, I'm really not speaking well today. these little transparent pieces that you can layer with paint. So what you want to do is India ink side up. I usually tape it down to some sort of a board. I'm using white here so you can see it. Tape it down. And then this little brayer you can get at the paint store for like $3. I love it. It comes with a little, its own little tray, great for Mod Podging. Okay, so I put my Mod Podge in there. Okay, and you can use a brush too, but this just makes a really nice thin coat. And just roll over that. It will bubble up some, but that's okay because it becomes sort of plasticky, and it'll flatten out again once it's dry. So that's basically all there is to it. And you can, when it's dry, cut pieces out, paint on top, put text underneath, you name it. Okay, I'm back again, troubleshooting blot printing. Now, here's a great way to just practice line work really directly. Just get a journal. So, okay, so there is the squeeze tube, firm pressure, and then drawing. Okay. Blot. You get.
Can you name that pen again? Because I don't have one and other things don't work.
Okay, let me finish because I'm recording. Okay, let me finish and then I'll go over it. All right, now if you're doing India ink, here's the most important thing. Okay, so right now I've got a ton of ink on this little brush. So it's going to be amount of ink. So I'm wiping some off, amount of ink and pressure. So here I'm going to go kind of light. Blot. Okay. Now I'm going to add same amount of ink, but more pressure.
And the spiral notebook is just drawing paper?
It's just drawing paper.
Yeah.
Okay, so here, that was more pressure. So I get a bigger blot, okay? So then here we go again. Let's go. And then how hard you rub it too. Okay, so that part of it is this paper is pretty absorbent too. So I'm getting a lighter mark here. Okay, now I'm going to go slightly bigger brush. There we go. There's our blot. That's quite nice. Now I'm going to use this cheap hardware store bristly brush. So people might say, well, who cares? Why don't you just paint directly? Well, when you blot, you get sort of this fuzzy effect with the bigger line here. It just is a different effect. Okay, so now I'm going to go, we'll do some more here. Okay, so you can see I get this different sort of broken effect that I really like. So this would be something to practice, the amount of paint and then the amount of pressure. So quite a bit of paint there. Ooh, I like that. Go more pressure. Okay, that blobs out more. Okay. So this would be great to practice because you're just getting comfortable with the amount of paint, the amount of pressure, practicing your lines. Okay. In a journal. And you could even do this deliberately to make some repeat collage papers, elements that you could use in cut up and use in your work. Okay.